Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the National Intel Report. I'm your host, John Statmiller, with you on this 19th day of November 2013. The clock is getting ready to click over for another month, and hallelujah, another year. And is anybody going to celebrate New Year's this year? I certainly hope not. What the hell would you be celebrating? What has happened to you in your life? Or what you perceive is going to happen to you in the coming year? At any rate. From Trends Research, Gerald Celente. Gerald, are you with me?
I'm here, John.
Well, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
What is this? I had no idea you knew John Connally.
Yeah, I did, and it's quite a story. And I'd like to tell it to you another time, however. Not tonight. But I'll give you a brief rundown on it, and then we can even catch up next week.
Okay.
In 1992, he asked to meet me, and I had written Trend Tracking, and I wrote that in 1989, and for some reason, I know the reason why I did it. I in that book, Trend Tracking, it's not only now that people are disgusted with government. They were back then as well. George Bush's daddy was president, and he was running against Bill Clinton later on. But in 1989, the nation was moving into they were in a recession. The crash of '87 had happened. And I had predicted a new third party would arise. And for some reason, I mentioned Ross Perot's name in writing that, the kind of maverick that the people were looking for. So, of course, in 92, he ran. And John Connally wanted to meet me. And and as you see the photograph of me, him and his wife, Nellie, in front of the book depository. And again, we could talk about it another time.
Sure.
But to say the least, he was very, very saddened at what happened to the government and where the nation was heading. And to put it into perspective, not only was he the Democratic governor of Texas, he was also the Treasury Secretary under Nixon, a Republican. He changed parties. And actually, he was the guy that told Nixon to pack up his gear and go. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that also, I was kind of ashamed of myself after meeting him. I only knew him from what I saw in the media. And as I heard him talk and listening to him, my first thought was embarrassment that I prejudged someone that I didn't know. And it was one of those times I wish I had a tape recorder. And I could have, because every word that he said was so, everything was so dead on. And speaking of dead on, then he died several months later.
I see the picture, and you were a dapper-looking young man, huh? All that dark hair and that dark beard going on there. My goodness. That's all right, though. We're like wine. Yeah, we're like fine wine. We either get vinegary or we get better tasting as we get older.
As my Aunt Zizzy, may her soul rest in peace, used to say in Italian, "Vecchiaia caronia." Getting old's a bitch.
My mother, the only Italian I ever knew, Gerald, was when my mother would get really angry at me and she'd say, "Ma va cagare Giovanni." So, at any rate, we won't translate for the audience there. Hey, look, happy times are here again. When was the last time that we saw, before a crash, I think it was October 29th, 1929, all of a sudden the stock market, just got wings and just started to fly for no damn reason at all. The Dow has been over... It settled back down, but it went over the 16,000 mark in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Is this making you feel happy and glad, or apprehensive? Oh God, here we go again.
Well, I mean, everybody that's been following it knows the deal, and the deal is this: that all the money, the QE money, is going into pumping up the financial sector. I mean, everybody that's been following this knows that. So as you're looking at these stocks and the high-flying stocks, start looking at the start looking at what's going on in their earnings. And we heard from McDonald's, their sales are down. Walmart, coal, things aren't good. So what this is a reflection of what's going on at the higher levels. Mm-hmm. And so that 1% is reaping in all the profits. And again, if you talk to like this, John, if we had this conversation like 8 years ago, people would say, well, you sound like a commie, a socialist. Uh-huh. And now, of course, everybody knows it.
Well, and Gerald, the thing that aggravates me the most is that the sheepish response I get back from people, if I'm feeling particularly ornery and I just want to remind them and rub their face in it like I told you so, it's this sheepish thing that, oh, yeah, I guess you were right. And not shock and outrage that they have been duped or that they have ignored what people have been trying to tell them. This is a nutsy world anymore. Black is white, up is down, inside is outside, and we know this. We know the informational drill out there. I think people are starting to shut down a little bit, or at least trying to tune the negative stuff out. Because look what we've had here. I mean, you mentioned Walmart. Well, it's trying to sell $98 TVs to draw foot traffic in because this is the worst the company has seen since 2009. Well, what happened in 2008? Here we go again, but everything is fine. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up, stock market strong. We're in the middle of a recovery. Well, as they say, almost, or climbing out of recession, and everything else is screaming. I think what's happening here, Gerald, is people are just shutting down the negative input.
They always do, John. That's the thing. People are here's what's going on as I see it. You saw the latest poll numbers that came out on Obama, how dismal they are. Yeah. And what happened is that the people that believed in him, they've been had, and they know it, but they don't want to admit it. And so what they do is they make excuses. I hear them all the time. You hear people say, oh, look at those Tea Party people. What are you talking about, the Tea Party? How about the Democratic Party? How about the Republican Party? But they won't look in the mirror. Yeah. This was the biggest con game that was ever foisted on the American people, other than, of course, Bill Clinton. But Bill Clinton was transparent in his dirty dealings, And I'm waiting, by the way, for another Monica Lewinsky moment with Obama in terms of what will be his wag the dog effort to divert the people's attention away from this disaster. People forget with Clinton, every time he'd get in trouble, he'd bomb the hell out of Iraq. Baghdad was on fire. So what we have are a bunch of sociopaths and psychopaths leading us, and it hasn't changed.
Hang on to that thought. We got to take the 3-minute break. Gerald Celente, TrendsResearch.com is the website. Check it out. We'll be right back.
World-renowned physician and stem cell expert Dr. David Steenblock, D.O., and his research staff have spent years developing all-natural formulations that support the body's own stem cell production and mobilization system. An everyday stem cell supplement, creating the birth of StemGevity. StemGevity stem cell mobilization formula is for use by men, women, and children of all ages to support your body's stem cell system naturally, quickly, and safely. StemGevity helps support your heart and circulatory system, bones and joints, liver, skin, brain, and much more. Order your bottle now at StemGevity.com today. That's StemGevity, StemGevity.com. Or call now toll-free, 800-300-1063. Buy 2 bottles and receive a 3rd bottle free by mentioning RBN. Anyone who wants to get healthy needs StemGevity. Call 800-300-1063 today.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the Pure Effect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your Pure Effect Ultra today by visiting PureEffectFilters.com. or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821. Or visit PureEffectFilters.com.
Herbal Healer Spring Sale. 500 parts per million colloidal silver, all sizes. COQ10 with hawthorn, glucosamine chondroitin, sea cucumber, colloidal minerals, Superfam and Super Male Plaques, Colon Enhancer, our top-selling liquid, Cal Mag Vitamin D, MSM Sulfur Capsules, and Elderberry Power Capsules. We also offer certificate correspondence courses in natural medicine. Free memberships and free online newsletters also available at herbalhealer.com. Herbal Healer has been serving the natural medicine industry for 25 years. This is a company you can count on. Visit herbalhealer.com today. herbalhealer.com. That's herbalhealer.com.
Get ready for Real Talk Radio. You're listening to the National Intel Report with your host, John Stadtmiller.
Well, things are up. Things are popped inside out. Up is down, down is up, white is black. Well, you know the drill. All of these last couple of weeks, and Gerald, I think this was intentional. I've asked people to pay attention to the narrative here on Obamacare. Watch what they're doing with it. They went from states being really angry, rejecting it, people don't want it. They went from that narrative sliding right into Sebelius and her attitude and what she was saying and how the site wasn't ready, and they all knew this before they kicked it off. Now into fixing it. Here is the new thought. We're not rejecting it anymore. We're trying to fix it. We're trying to tweak it. Well, would it surprise you that, and this is what you folks need to do with your supposedly conservative Republicans. Next time you hear a Republican talk about how the individual mandates simply must be stopped or delayed or whatever, ask them why they're opposed to a plan that they came up with in the first place. Gerald, it was the Republicans planning through the Heritage Foundation back in the 80s. This wasn't a Hillary Clinton plan or a Joe Biden plan or a Kennedy plan no, this was Heritage Foundation. They were asking for this back in the 80s, and it goes even before that, 10 years, almost 15 years earlier. There's a story posted on the site, folks, republicbroadcasting.org. Dick Nixon, back in 1974, before they threw his keister out of D.C., he was proposing the same thing. Gee, how we forget.
You know, it's the same. You know, it's the same criminal gang, and this is what, you know, people keep going back and forth. The Republicans, the Democrats. You know, how about the Bloods and the Crips?
Yeah.
You know, and they think they're going to somehow everything's going to change if they vote for the one guy or woman that they like. Mm-hmm. And it's just childish to believe this. So yes, as you're saying, they're all parts of the same club, and all they're doing is they have different aspects of cheating us in a different way, but the result is that we lose. So whether you had, for example, you could talk about Obamacare, or we could talk about something else that relates in the same exact way. Look what happened when George W. Bush was president, and the nation went into the panic of 2008. We had Henry Frankenstein Paulson come out and tell us that we had to save the too big to fail.
That's right.
And then Obama comes in, and what does he do? He keeps saving them. And what's going on now? They're being saved. So when the Republicans were doing it, the Democrats says, oh, look how terrible this is. They're bailing out all the big banks and all those big financiers that caused the problem. And their guy comes in and he does the same exact thing. And they won't admit to it. We don't have a democracy nor a republic in this country. It's a takeover. It's fascism. The merger of state and corporate powers. We, the people, are being forced to buy insurance from private insurance companies. Can anybody get that in their head?
Yeah, and the argument that was brought up, well, the state mandates you to buy auto insurance. Yeah, but the state doesn't mandate me driving a car. Okay, I don't have to have auto insurance if I don't own a car. They're not giving me a choice here. They're not. I don't have the choice of going to a clinic that accepts cash and doesn't want to have anything to do with insurance companies or the government or anything else. I don't have that choice.
Exactly, and the other issue is, you need insurance because you're out there, and if you hit someone, they're going to be screwed, and you could drive like a maniac, and you could get away with it. So that's why we have auto insurance. So it's a whole different thing, as you point out. And if you don't want to drive, you don't have to. So there is no comparison. It's fascism. It's the merger of state and corporate powers. It's been a fascist takeover. Look at the news that came out the other day in Cleveland. I love this one. McDonald's is asking the people to donate in a Christmas fund with food and other things to help the Walmart employees that can't make ends meet, that are living in poverty.
Isn't that amazing? A company that is making billions and billions and billions of dollars every year can't seem to find it in their Grinch little heart to pay their workers enough so they can even buy the food in their own damn Walmarts. Give me a break.
And look how disgusting these places are. You and I are old enough to remember when you went shopping and stores were lovely places. And now you're going into a large self-storage unit, a big box store.
Yeah.
Concrete, steel, and fluorescent lights. Good for you. And you saved, 8 cents on a product?
And the person that greets you as you walk in, you know damn right well they'd be eating dog food if they weren't standing there giving you a grocery cart. I mean, they're supposed to be retired or at least have enough savings where they don't have to. I look at it as being a humiliation myself.
And again, look what's going on. In the old days, people used to retire at 65 and move to Florida and Arizona and other places.
You mean God's waiting room?
Yeah, God's waiting room. Yeah. And now you have to work until you die.
Yeah.
Look, can't people get it in their heads? Every Target, every Walmart, every Home Depot, every Staples, every Office Depot, every Lowe's, every major chain, every McDonald's, every Burger King, every Dunkin' Donuts, every Starbucks that closes the door for the entrepreneurs, and you're forced to work for the man in Slavelandia. Who would have believed that this is what the United States would have turned into? The founding fathers must be turning in their graves to see what happened to this once proud and great country.
Gerald, let me sneak in a couple calls here. We never have you long enough to get some calls, but these people showed up real early, so I guess they're dying to get at you here. Marcellus in Pennsylvania. Hello, Marcellus.
Hello, John, and hello to the great Gerald Celente, one of my modern-day heroes.
Hey.
I just wanted to comment on the monumental, and I do mean monumental, lies and deception that is being put on by this Obama administration and his cronies. I mean, this is unbelievable. Every day it's a new lie. It's a new deception. It's a new thievery.
Yeah. It's
just unbelievable. I'll give you a case in point. The New York Post article by John Crudell titled Census Fake 2012 Election Jobs Report. That's that October 2012 jobs report that came out the month before the election was due. We were at 8.1% going in August, and then the September report comes up all of a sudden 7.8% unemployment rate. how do you go from 8.1 to 7.8 in a matter of 30 days when there's no job creation, part-time jobs, if anything, the participation rate continues to fall and fall. And then on top of that, you got a guy who admits in the census that he was told to fake it. His name was John Buckman.
Yeah. Marcellus, is there a question here quickly for Gerald?
Yeah, I just want to know, how long can these lies and deception go? This whole system is now being run on a flood of continuous lies and theft by deception by this so-called president. This is unprecedented. This is monumental.
Yeah, it is.
I would say that you're 100% right, but it's more of the same, just a different guy there. A lot of people forget that George Bush was booed off the stage on Inauguration Day because they were screwing us back then, too. They're madmen. They're psychopaths and sociopaths, but people like to call them Republicans and Democrats.
And they're sometimes insulted. I think the Gambinos and the Genoveses were a cut above these guys. Gerald, can you hang with me for a few more minutes?
I can.
All righty, we'll take the break here. Any quick calls here that you want to ask us specific, call in now.
Do you love America? Do you support the right to bear arms? Do you have an opinion on the current immigration issue? Do you believe in the dollar? You have a voice. You have an opinion. Let it be heard. Go to AmericanFreedomSurvey.com right now and make your voice count. Do you like your rights taken away for the so-called sake of public safety? Do you want to repeal Obamacare? Go to AmericanFreedomSurvey.com today and fight back. All you have to do is fill out a short survey and you're done. Simple, easy, fast. For your time, you get entered to win free gold and silver. That's right. Get gold and silver free by filling out this short survey that enters you to win. AmericanFreedomSurvey.com. Go to AmericanFreedomSurvey.com today. That's AmericanFreedomSurvey.com. You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
John Statmiller here. Sometimes in life you get lucky. Well, today is your lucky day. Our sponsor, AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com, have just announced their biggest savings yet on their 1-month food supply by Linden Farms. This great 1-month pack includes over 360 servings based on 2,000 calories per day. While supplies last, you'll get 1 free month of long-term emergency food entrees when you buy 3. This is a massive savings of $600 on a 4-month supply. Again, AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com is giving you buy 3 months, get an additional 1 month of food free. This is a great deal. Act fast. The site again is AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com or call them directly at 818-720-0759, 818-720-0759. Let them know John sent you. Do it today. AmericanSurvivalWholesale.com. Veteran owned and operated.
What do you need? You need Paracord. CampingSurvival.com is providing you U.S. military 550 Paracord. 550 tensile strength, military specifications. Made in the USA. Available in 3,000, 1,000, 600, 300, 150 links. You can purchase yours now at CampingSurvival.com. Lowest prices on Paracord. Huge selection. All ready to be shipped. Black Paracord, 1,000 feet. Only $39.83 right now on CampingSurvival.com. But wait, use the code FREEDOM when purchasing and save 5% off. Paracord is a unique material used for many different reasons. Get yours from CampingSurvival.com now. Confidence born of preparation. CampingSurvival.com.
I'm Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America, and I want to invite you to join the Second Amendment movement with Gun Owners of America, the only no-compromise gun lobby in Washington. Take action by becoming a GOA member today by going to gunowners.org. Gun owners members receive the GOA newsletter, fact sheets, alerts, certificates, and more. But there's more to joining GOA than just a list of member benefits. The united voice of GOA members has been successful in defeating restrictive legislation designed to disarm our population. GOA has helped to get strong constitutional members of Congress like Senator Ted Cruz elected. And with your help, GOA will continue to successfully defend the rights of gun owners in the courts. Participate in our efforts to restore and preserve the nation's right to keep and bear arms. All contributions to our lobbying efforts are used exclusively to support or oppose firearms legislation. Join online at gunowners.org.
All right, we are back. Gerald Celente this Tuesday afternoon on the program, TrendsResearch.com. By the way, Gerald, since you don't want to do, gosh, it's next, when is Thanksgiving? Next Thursday, right?
Right.
Can I book you in with Zeke next Tuesday?
I think we can.
All right. Ready? Let's take Sean in Colorado. You're on with Gerald Celente.
Oh, great. Hey, you guys are like my cool Italian uncles. I'm half Italian, so
okay.
I really like listening to you guys.
You should get a picture, at least of me. I've got hair coming out of my nose and my ears. I'm getting that old. That's a joke around Italians. That's what happened. Anyhow, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, I just top of my head, I was trying to pull over on the highway. Anyway, I'm not there yet, but anyway, I listened to Gerald saying things like the commander-in-chief and other wordplay things, and I got a few for you if you got it half a minute.
30 seconds.
Okay, here we go. There's a lot of events out there that I call stinky coinky dinkies.
Okay.
And oh gosh, come on, brain. Oh yeah, here we go. Too big to veil. Problems are just getting too big to veil. You can't cover them up anymore.
Well, that's a good one actually, and that's very true. You can't cover the problems up anymore. They're so obvious. So how are they going to cover them up? They'll probably cover them up with a false flag.
Yeah.
That's how they'll cover them up, just like Bill Clinton used to do. As I said, it's a wag the dog moment. Watch it. Watch for it. Because these guys are very deceptive, and they're not going to go down easily.
Well, I'm just amazed here. I'm looking at Reuters actually did some. I was shocked here, Gerald. Reuters actually did some investigative reporting. Remember, that's when, news organizations, they used to do things like that. Well, they dug into the accounting of the government accountability office. Now, there's a joke. Finding out that billions, remember Donnie Rumsfeld coming out and saying, well, we've kind of misplaced $2-3 trillion bucks. Oh, no. It's much worse than that. These people are spending money hand over fist on projects, even simple communications, supposedly to modernize their accounting systems. As one guy put it in the Pentagon, he says, you can't have a device that runs on electricity and go in one office and plug it in the wall, because it's almost as if everything is a different voltage, everything is a different plug. Nothing is the same, nothing flows. And I'm looking at their Defense Department. They pulled the plug on supposedly modernizing its accounting system after spending $1 billion from mid-2003 to mid-2010. $1 billion. No accounting what they did with the money. They just started a project and cut it off. Another one, logistics management and accounting for the Air Force. The one I just mentioned was for the DOD. This is for the Air Force. Same amount, $1 billion. They start the thing. They just ended that just a couple of months ago. Just shut it down. Spent $1 billion though. Gerald, we have a government that's running by manipulators and thieves. and they have adopted the new 21st century corporatization. And this is really scary because time was in this country, people had a fighting chance. They could keep jobs at one location, retire from that location. Now, between Bill Clinton, George Bush, this thing in the White House now, I don't even know what the heck he is. One of his school chums from Hawaii came out and really dropped the bomb on this guy, saying everything that we've been saying all the while about Barack Hussein Obama has been absolutely true. She knew him from being from Indonesia. She knew all about this guy. And he was, and this is probably going to make a lot of people angry that are, oh, please don't pick on the presidency. That's an office to be regarded. He was a flaming homosexual as a kid in Hawaii, being paid for his cocaine by old gentlemen just out to have a good time. This is the president of the United States that's seated in this office right now. Gerald, how much worse can this stuff get?
Again, I didn't have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I smoked, but I didn't inhale. Yeah, I'm telling you, we have psychopaths and sociopaths. And again, I'm not a libertarian, by the way. I believe in laws and regulations. And for example, you mentioned about how bad it's gotten, under the last three. Jim, look at the airline industry that we have today. Now they just had the merger between U.S. Air and American Airlines. That leaves us now with two major airlines. When I began flying back in the early 70s, and because of the business I was in, I used to fly around the world, and in first class. There were 150 or some airlines. It wasn't like flying, in a day of Calcutta. That's what it feels like today. So there were these laws that were put in place to strictly regulate so that we, the people, would not be screwed. And now they've deregulated. Look what we have. They deregulated. They killed the Sherman Antitrust Act, the Clayton Antitrust Act, the Robinson-Patman Act. It started under Jimmy Carter when he started deregulating the banks. It accelerated under Reagan with the death of the Sherman Antitrust Act. That's why we have the few big everythings that are running our lives. These laws were put in place from the late 1800s to early 1900s, so the robber barons wouldn't rob everything that we have. And now they've given them a different name. They're hedge funds. They're private equity groups. They're multinationals. They're plantation owners. And we've become the slaves of Slavelandia on the plantation.
Do you know the funny thing?
It's better than that, John.
Yep.
Because they don't even have to worry about us. They don't even have to take care of us.
Well, I'm sorry, it's not really funny. It's ironic. But blacks in this country, that they euphemistically like to call themselves African Americans to separate themselves from everybody else. They're now realizing that welcome to the plantation, you've been double tapped. They are now starting to get it. And I'm thinking, hallelujah.
It's everybody. We've all been screwed. You look at the numbers don't lie. What do they have? You have, 400 people in this country worth $2 trillion? I mean, that's bigger than the GDP of Italy. It's bigger than the GDP of Canada. Yeah. Bigger than the GDP of Mexico.
That's right.
What do you have? You have a handful of people, 1% owning over 20% of all the assets.
And when people, here's the funny thing. I got a couple calls. I got to get to them here, but here's the thing. When people hear that, it's the top 1%. The divide between the haves and the have-nots. The middle class is gone, and this just goes over people's heads. They don't understand why that 1% is the way that it is, and the way that they are, and why they're having trouble. They'd better tune into this damn network and get a clue quick, because time's running out. Terrence in Tennessee, you're up. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, John and Gerald. I got a question about silver, but I wanted to mention with the corruption, South Tennessee mayor fired a police officer because a police officer wrote him a ticket for doing 65 and a 45. The corruption's all the way. It starts at the bottom and it goes up.
Yeah. How can this creep in Canada continue to operate as mayor? He just knocked down a 73-year-old woman the other day and didn't even say, excuse me. Yeah,
that's just an example. Is the corruption is everywhere.
Yeah.
But with silver, Gerald, it used to be 20 silver dollars equaled one $20 gold piece. And so my question to you, has the operation of mining changed the ratio of how metals come out of the ground? If the mining ratio is still the same, why is there such a gap in the difference between gold and silver?
Well, you know, the thing is that, first of all, the markets are fixed. I say that from looking at the facts. You pick up the papers today, look at the Financial Times, and now, you know, they're still looking into the Forex scandal. We're talking about $5.5 trillion a day worth of currencies being manipulated. Then you look at the LIBOR scandal. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's fact. They rigged the LIBOR rates, the interest rates that all of us pay on everything. They are rigging the prices of gold and silver. It's not only the United States. You name the country. You name the region. Europe, interest rates are at record lows. The United States, interest rates are at record lows. Look what they're doing over there in Japan. They're pumping in about $30-70 billion a month into the Abenomics, they call it, trying to pump the economy up. Look what's going on in China. The only reason China's doing anything is because they're pumping dough in. So the ratios aren't that important at this moment. The thing is, it's being so manipulated that it's being skewed.
Gerald, hang on 1 second. We'll be right back.
World-renowned physician and stem cell expert Dr. David Steenblock, DO, and his research staff have spent years developing all-natural formulations that support the body's own stem cell production and mobilization system. An everyday stem cell supplement, creating the birth of StemJevity. StemJevity stem cell mobilization formula is for use by men, women, and children of all ages to support your body's stem cell system naturally, quickly, and safely. StemJevity helps support your heart and circulatory system, bones and joints, liver, skin, brain, and much more. Order your bottle now at StemJevity.com today. That's StemGevity, StemJevity.com. Or call now toll-free, 800-300-1063. Buy 2 bottles and receive a 3rd bottle free by mentioning RBN. Anyone who wants to get healthy needs StemJevity. Call 800-300-1063 today.
Ground beef, eggs, butter, cheese, soup, sandwiches, strawberries, ice cream, coffee, and more. What do these foods have in common? They all come in storable, long shelf life food for you to save and use in uncertain times. Rather, if it is a meal or a snack, for a family or just yourself, CampingSurvival.com offers a huge variety of storable food for you to be prepared anytime. Go to CampingSurvival.com to order all your food. Eat today, save it for tomorrow, or store it for years to come. CampingSurvival.com sells healthy, nutritious, storable food in number 10 cans and pouches. Order online today at CampingSurvival.com. Use code FREEDOM and receive 5% off. CampingSurvival.com. Remember, save 5% off with code FREEDOM at CampingSurvival.com on all your prepared food needs.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
My name is Don Wiskin. I had a massive heart attack at 42. The doctors could do nothing but send me home with disability as my future. I reversed the damage done to my heart with a natural remedy. I am now 58 and contribute my good health today to Extendovite. You have heard my messages for many years. A lot of people have taken Extendovite and improved their health issues. We are surrounded by fast food, toxic air, and chemicals that our body cannot eliminate. As we age, they can age us faster. Clean yourself out with Extendovite, available in capsule or liquid form. Get a 2-month supply for only $69.95 plus shipping and handling. You can live a longer, healthier life just by calling 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
We are back. Gene in New Jersey, you're on with Gerald Celente. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. I wanted to know how much longer J.P. Morgan and probably Goldman Sachs can suppress gold and silver and whatnot for the Chinese. I think they want the Chinese to buy it cheap. And will it make another new low? I don't know what's going to happen with it right now.
It could make another new low. And again, it's not in, as I was saying, it's not in any of the central banks' interests to see their currencies devalued, as they should be. This is unprecedented in world history that they are dumping this cheap money into the system at the rate that they are. So if the currencies start declining in value, of course gold is going to skyrocket. They're not going to let that happen. And it'll only go to its level where I believe it should be, and that is over $2,000 an ounce, when they can't do it anymore. And here's our forecast. We'll be writing more about it in the Trends Journal. They're going to have to start this tapering. They can't keep this going forever. When they do, interest rates are going to go up. The only reason this economy is rebounded, or any of the economies, are because of interest rates being so low. When the interest rates go up, the economies collapse, and the bond bubble bursts, and that'll be a lot worse than the panic of 2008. Then, by the way, when it happens, you'll see gold go lower initially until the panic sets in. And I'm looking for around March for the reality to hit. I don't think they'll be able to cover it up anymore. I think they're going to begin the tapering probably either this month, December rather, or early in January. They're not going to jeopardize the Christmas season, but they're going to have to stop pumping money in, or they already added $4 trillion onto their books that we know about. So that's the scenario that I see. And mentioning J.P. Morgan, they just got fined again. They made the deal for $13.5 billion, another about 3.5 or 5 point something last Saturday, and not one head rolls. There will be no criminal charges.
Yep, whoop-de-doo. I read that, and the first thought that came to mind was not even a slap on the wrist, because we're talking about trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that got looted. Where did it go? It went someplace. Give me the money back. Well, of course, Gerald, you can't get the money back without saying that somebody did something wrong and without a prosecution.
Well, again, when you look at read the language, you know what they did? It wasn't larceny. It wasn't criminal activity. They misled.
Yeah.
They either misled, missold. It's always misconduct, and it's never what it really is. And the prostitute media keeps using that BS language to describe these high crimes and misdemeanors that have ruined the lives of tens of millions of people, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world. And what do? They bow to these slimers, to these Jamie Dimon,
Gerald?
These Lloyd Blankfeins and the rest.
Gene, what?
I just wanted to say, I thought that they could continue printing money. Some woman in his administration gave to go that she's going to continue.
Yeah, that's Yellen.
Continue printing money.
That's because Ben Bernanke's getting his hat and he's getting out of town before this stuff comes down. He doesn't want to be held accountable. He did the heavy lifting here with aiding and abetting the criminality of what has transpired. So Yellen is going to come in. She doesn't know beans from Shinola, really. But no, she's going to carry on the policy that the predecessors have done, and she's going to do the palms up and the scrunching of the neck and the shoulders up, doing the no-necker, as I call it, when the thing goes down. Gerald, I have to ask you this. There is a famous line in a movie where one of the people that was a senator and was in the original, gosh, I can't think of his name. He was a lawyer from Kentucky. Decided he wanted to get into, I'll think of his name. At any rate, in the movie, we're talking about Russians. Well, the Russians don't do anything. They plan out everything. The Russians don't do anything without even planning going to the bathroom. And I'm looking at this scenario with the world. Bankers, they don't do anything without a plan. Plan B or Plan A, after the system is brought down, they've got a plan. Any indication of what it is?
War.
War?
When all else loses, they take you to war. Look at history. John, I have to say a quick goodbye right now. I'm getting a signal here.
Understood.
I have another one coming on soon.
All right.
And thank you so much. And you contact Zeke, and we'll try to do something next week.
I will certainly do that. Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you.
All righty. And by the way, that was Zeke there giving him the high sign. I'm going to get you, Zeke. I only had 3 more minutes. No, he's got another interview he's got to do. At any rate, we'll have him on. I'm going to shoot for next Tuesday. And he wants to do this thing on JFK, and I'm glad that he is. I'm glad that he is. Because there's new BS that is hit out there, isn't there, on who killed JFK. Yeah, they got to keep the mystery churning rather than just opening up the files and letting us see what happened and then letting the people put the puzzle together. Can't have that. This is why I got a little bit upset when I saw the major banking crisis creeping up on us. What did I say? I'm not talking about 9/11 was an inside job anymore, because that turned into not a red herring, but that turned into a distraction. And next Tuesday, I'll do the show with Gerald, and we'll talk about JFK, and then we're going to move on. It's the 50th anniversary. I think I can dedicate one show to John Fitzgerald Kennedy on the 50th anniversary of the man's murder. And I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting. Tune in next Tuesday. By the way, an announcement here. Very, very happy to make this one. Mike Rivero, What Really Happened, is coming back December 2nd. It wasn't real clear what he was doing, and I'm sure as things unfold next month, he'll clue you in. But evidently he had to take some time off, and which he did. So he's going to be back on December 2nd. I think that's a Monday. So there's your Christmas gift, folks. It arrived a little bit early. So at any rate. One other thing before we get out of this hour. Things are changing. People are starting to get the idea that, well, not everything is good in La La Land. In this country, we're becoming more aware, and we're meeting more resistance. And now it's getting militant. People trying to do the nice and peaceful and, saying please, but with a little edge to it. And they keep getting rejected out of hand. Simple stuff like labeling for genetically modified foods, frankenfoods. In Europe, that stuff's a no-no. Here, we can't even get labeling. This is the power of the corporations teamed up with the governments, both state and federal. That's what's doing this. And the internal greed, the money junkies, if you will, the eternal greed of these corporations. Disgusting. Well, down in Australia, evidently some people have had enough, and they got together and said, we've had enough, and this time we really mean it, and we want something really done about it. Well, this is what they're doing. Australia's cabinet has decided it's going to reject any new contributions or taxes related to climate change at this week's annual United Nations Global Summit on Climate Change in Warsaw. I'm assuming that's Poland, unless it's in Warsaw, Ohio, and I think there is actually a Warsaw, Ohio, calling the measures socialism masquerading as environmentalism. That is extremely important. According to the Australian, the document that was agreed upon declares that Australia will not sign up for any new agreements that involve spending money or levying taxes on climate change matters. It rules out Australia playing any role in a wealth transfer from rich countries to developing nations to pay them to decrease their carbon emissions. Australia also plans to repeal its carbon tax as it toughens its stance against the climate change agenda. I am not going to be happy until I have Al Gore's hide hanging on my shed. Well, figuratively speaking. Who the hell would want to see that? Ugh. I don't even think Tipper would. At any rate, we'll take the top of the hour break. Do we have our next hour guest up with us right now? No. Okay. All right. Second hour coming up, folks.
Take America back. We must take America back.
With finance. With finance. With finance. With finance. With finance. With finance.